Start that again. Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Whitfield, Chairman Burgess, and members of the joint subcommittees. Again, my name is Erin Monroe Wesley. I serve as the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. On behalf of BRAC's 1,400 investors in the region's business community, we stand before you today to express our significant concern regarding the proposed NAAQS rule issued by the EPA on November 25, 2014. The Baton Rouge Area Chamber adamantly opposes the proposed reductions in ambient air quality standards from the current level of 75 parts per billion. Our opposition is based on three main points. Number one, the proposed standards have already cost our region thousands of jobs and billions of dollars in capital investment. Two, the standards would drive 18 of the nation's 20 top-performing metropolitan economies into non-attainment and damage U.S. competitiveness for business investment, especially foreign direct investment. And number three, the vast majority of U.S. counties will meet the EPA's proposed standards by 2025 with practices already in place. BRAC believes in and stands for cleaner air and environmental stewardship. For roughly 10 years, BRAC has supported and hosted the Baton Rouge Clean Air Coalition. On April 4, 2014, thanks in large part to the coalition's efforts, the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality announced that the EPA determined that the Baton Rouge area attained the 2008 8-hour ozone standard. The region has decreased ground-level ozone, improving air quality and human health for its 800,000-plus residents. Our successes and progress environmentally make the negative effects of the proposed standards even more painful. In 2014, BRAC worked with 4 chemical manufacturers that were investigating major investments in the region, including 2 companies that executed purchase agreements on large industrial sites with the intent to develop. Since the EPA first proposed lowering the ozone NAAQS, all 4 of these companies indicated that the proposed new standards influenced their decisions to look elsewhere or to otherwise not proceed. In other words, the proposed standards have cost this region at least 2,000 direct and indirect jobs and caused more than $7 billion in capital investment to be put on hold or moved elsewhere. Let me be very clear. These projects were put on hold or lost at the mere prospect of lowering ozone air quality standards to the 65 to 70 parts per billion range. Should these proposed standards be adopted, the Baton Rouge area will be thrust into non-attainment status. Economic development professionals have projected that under this scenario, the Baton Rouge area will not even be approached for these types of projects, much less compete for them. Baton Rouge would not be alone in suffering economically should the proposed standards be adopted. If the EPA were to lower the ozone standard to 65 parts per billion, all but 2 of the nation's top 20 metropolitan area economies, as ranked by the Brookings Institution, would be relegated to non-attainment status. These proposed standards would stifle the growth and investments in U.S. manufacturing, exports, and development taking place in metropolitan areas that have been the most successful in helping the country get back its footing economically. The proposed actions to lower the ozone NAAQS rule run counter to the U.S. government's interests to grow the national economy, attract foreign direct investment, and increase U.S. exports. Clean air is a priority for the Baton Rouge area's business community. Economic development and environmental stewardship do not have to be mutually exclusive goals. This region's businesses are committed to both, as evidenced by the efforts put forth to gain attainment status. Policies that have a significant adverse effect on local economies, as the proposed NAAQS rule does, should be enacted sparingly, only when absolutely necessary. Unfortunately, the rule at hand spares nothing and is unnecessary. Despite the EPA's own assertion that a vast majority of the country will be in compliance with the regulations by 2025 under the current regulatory scheme, the agency seeks to enact rules that will immediately bring the punitive status of non-attainment to areas around the country. We cannot stand by and allow our economy to be collateral damage. It is therefore the strong recommendation of the Baton Rouge Area Chamber that the National Ambient Air Quality Standards for Ozone rule not be reduced from 75 parts per billion. Thank you.